384,800 GitHub Stars. In a matter of months, one developer's open-source side project outranked React and the entire Linux kernel globally. How did an independent tool achieve this kind of scale so fast? And what exactly did OpenAI see in the code that made them hire its creator outright? The current generation of AI assistants are completely siloed. They live on corporate cloud servers, safely walled off from the actual messy reality of your local devices. Your real data is scattered. It exists locally in your file system, deep inside private Slack threads, and buried in your WhatsApp chat history. Cloud models cannot securely touch it. Because they lack direct access to your system, these so-called assistants leave you doing the manual labor. You are reduced to a human API, constantly copying and pasting data. Enter OpenClaw, a fully open-source, self-hosted autonomous AI agent framework created by Peter Steinberger that intentionally flips the cloud-first model upside down. Instead of sending your sensitive data to an external server, OpenClaw runs completely locally. It supports macOS, iOS, Android, and Windows via WSL2, keeping your personal information strictly on your hardware. It functions less like a standard chatbot, and more like a highly customizable robot butler. One that lives natively inside your phone, quietly executing digital chores in the background. It wires directly into messaging platforms like WhatsApp and Slack. OpenClaw reads the conversational context, drafts appropriate responses, and executes requested tasks without you ever opening the application. It can take direct command of your web browser. When you need a tedious multi-page form filled out, the agent navigates the user interface and clicks the buttons autonomously. The project's astronomical rise was unprecedented. It initially launched in November 2025 under the name Claudebot, before pivoting to Moldbot, and finally branding as OpenClaw in January 2026. The developer community immediately recognized the raw power of true local autonomy. OpenClaw surpassed a staggering 190,000 GitHub stars in just its first 14 days alone. By February 2, 2026, it had easily cleared the 150,000 star milestone. It maintained a velocity rarely seen outside of massive, corporate-backed frameworks. To put this aggressive growth into stark perspective, React, one of the most foundational web frameworks in modern programming history, sits at around 243,000 stars. The entire Linux kernel, the literal backbone of modern computing infrastructure, hovers around 220,000 stars. OpenClaw was aggressively closing that gap. Then came February 14, 2026. Peter Steinberger dropped a massive announcement. He was officially joining OpenAI to build their next generation of intelligent agents. Rather than slowing down after the acquisition of its creator, the momentum accelerated. Just 2 days later, OpenClaw blew past the 200,000 star barrier. On February 22, the unthinkable happened. This open-source personal agent officially overtook Linux's 218,260 stars, securing a permanent place in open-source history. By March 2, it crushed React's record as well, reaching over 245,000 stars and cementing itself as a foundational pillar for future AI development. The very next day, March 3, the repository tipped over 250,829 stars. The velocity of global adoption showed absolutely zero signs of cooling off. Fast forward to April 2026, and the framework had scaled past 347,000 stars, becoming the de facto standard for self-hosted AI execution. Today, OpenClaw commands an unbelievable 384,800 stars. It firmly holds the position as the number 6 globally ranked project on all of GitHub. Crucially, the project didn't die when Steinberger left. OpenClaw transitioned to an independent foundation under a permissive MIT license, keeping the source code permanently free. So why did OpenAI hire him, and why did this project explode? Because OpenClaw solved the ultimate bottleneck. It proved that next-generation agents require direct, local system access to actually execute tasks. OpenAI didn't buy the code, they bought the visionary who figured out how to safely connect AI to the operating system. By granting the agent system-level action capabilities on a local machine, OpenClaw bridges the gap between simple text generation and actual physical file manipulation. It handles complex scheduling logic entirely on-device. It manages your calendars and locks in appointments without ever broadcasting your private agenda to the cloud. It manages background operations, organizes directories, and triggers scripts seamlessly. The framework treats your operating system as an extension of its own digital memory. By migrating to an MIT license, the barrier to entry vanished. Enterprise developers and solo hackers alike could build directly on top of OpenClaw without legal friction. The architecture strictly separates the reasoning loop from the execution environment. This modular brain is exactly why it scales so perfectly across iOS, macOS, and Android. Users inherently trust it because they can inspect every single line of code. When an AI has permission to read your private messages, absolute transparency is mandatory. This marks a definitive shift away from prompt engineering. We are moving toward autonomous delegation, where you assign a goal and walk away while the machine works. But true local autonomy comes with a heavy hardware tax. Running a capable autonomous agent framework locally requires intense compute. Older machines will suffer severe battery drain and sluggish performance. You are trading the raw, instantaneous speed of massive cloud server clusters for the security of absolute privacy and direct local system control. Steinberger's move to OpenAI signals exactly where the industry is heading. The race is no longer about building bigger models, but models that can effectively drive your computer. OpenClaw established the baseline blueprint for this future. A decentralized, user-controlled ecosystem that outright refuses to be locked behind corporate API paywalls. Reaching the top tier of GitHub wasn't just a vanity metric. It was a massive community vote for a private, autonomous, and strictly self-hosted AI future. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on local AI agents and autonomous frameworks, hit subscribe.